Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
Okay, I wrote, hi, relax and know this dream is now. I flipped beliefs knowing I was on a synchronistic journey of total fulfillment. Following my joy, trusting myself, I was led through a very distinct path that is still there now for you to follow.
And do you have any concept of what that path looks like?
Well, it's my highest joy.
Yes. And what does that look like? How does that express itself in your physical experience? What kind of actions, what kind of things do you do to express this higher path?
Well, one of it is definitely meeting new people and being open to being around people.
Being open to being around people?
Yeah.
For what purpose?
Well, my goal is to have a child.
Why is that a goal?
Because I don't seem to be able to do it at the moment.
I see. Do you understand that if you have made an agreement with a spirit who is to become your child, that the only way to stop that agreement is to spend time worrying about whether or not it will happen?
I'm learning that, yes.
All right.
Yes.
So did your future self give you the understanding of how to let that idea go so that it can simply happen in perfect timing instead of focusing so much on time?
Yeah, the part about trusting myself is what I felt with that it was not about time, it was about timing.
All right, and when you talk about the issue of trust, understand, none of you have to learn how to trust. You simply have to decide what you wish to put your trust in. You all trust something to be true every moment, or you wouldn't be having an experiential reality. So you don't have to learn how to trust. You just have to decide what idea you wish to put your trust in.
Right.
Make sense?
Total.
All right. And of course, the idea for you may also be, symbolically speaking, symbolically reflective of the idea of birthing a new you.
Yeah, that message actually has been coming to me all along the way, that the unconditional love that I'm wanting from the child is really about unconditionally loving me.
Yes, because if you are going to have a physical child, the child has made an agreement with a particular version of you as its mother. You need to become that version of you before you will actually become the mother the child has made an agreement to be born to. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes.
And how did you feel hearing the dialogue from your future self?
I felt connected, and I felt that it was a reassuring, the journey is here. If I want it, it's my choice.
If you want it.
Right.
Do you want it?
Very much.
Are you sure?
Well, I'll be honest with you, there are fears that definitely come up with this.
That's all right. As we said, the more you explore an expansion of consciousness, the more fears that you may have will come up. Because in coming up, you can deal with them, you can integrate them. You cannot have an expansion of consciousness without exploring the darkness that may be within you.
Right.
Because remember, all that is all the light and all the dark. It's the positive and the negative. And the more you expand your consciousness, the more aware you will become of whatever darkness there may be. It doesn't mean you have to choose it. In fact, paradoxically, the more aware you become of what is there as a choice, if you allow that to be an equal choice to anything else, you will not put it with an extra charge. You will simply allow it to be a neutral, valid choice, and then you can choose what you prefer. But you will become more aware of its existence because you're becoming more aware of all that is.
Well, do I need to flip the beliefs that are fears as they come up?
Yes, you work with them.
Right.
But first you must own them. You cannot change what you do not own.
Right.
So the idea is not to ignore or suppress. The idea is to acknowledge that you have the belief that is generating the fear, because remember, you cannot physically have a feeling without first believing something to be true.
Right.
So once you have the feeling helps you get in touch with what the belief is that has been up to this point unconscious, that you can now make conscious by asking yourself the question, what would I have to believe is true in order to feel this way?
Right.
And once you identify the belief, it is now conscious, thus no longer a habit, thus no longer a pattern, which is only something you do that you don't know you're doing. So when you make it conscious, it's no longer a habit, it's no longer a pattern. Making a belief consciously aware is the end of the process of letting go of the habit, not the beginning.
Right.
Do you understand?
I do understand.
All right. So, by allowing yourself to simply bring these things to light, by allowing your excitement to raise these issues to the surface and make you aware of them, now you have something to work with. Now you have something to deal with. Now you have something to identify. Now you have something to integrate. And thus it adds to the idea of how you experience your energy more in a positive and constructive and loving and joyful and creative way, which I assume you prefer.
Indeed. Indeed. Definitely.
Does that help?
Very much so. Thank you.
Thank you.